All right, Luann and Gary here.
Crazy Cluckers Farm.
And with all this, it's been a month now since Helene hit the Appalachians, and you know, it's brings some memories back for us too. And we've put some little bits and pieces in a few of our videos. But today we thought, well, we'd explain, you know, just how it is. We can really relate to the people down there.
Yeah, not to the extreme that they went through, but
obviously
still,
we didn't lose our lives.
We were scared and we lost a lot, and we know how they feel, you know, on the small scale. We definitely know how they feel. I got sunglasses on because I had my eyes dilated today, and
yeah. But we didn't lose our house, of course, but I can tell you, our house was surrounded with water. It was within 6 feet.
Yeah.
In fact, let me show you over here.
We even had a little fish in our backyard.
Yeah, that's it was over there. So we're going to kind of walk and talk here and just tell you, like, all these, this was different then. You probably can't tell on camera, but you know, it dips down right there. This used to be a horse pen right here. It was an active barn, and it looks like hell now, but all of this up here, you can see how the roof was, and now I've got some metal there. But that was a lean-to that used to go all the way across. You can see the concrete down there. And
but kind of making a long story short, the neighbor's house kind of went down through it.
Yeah.
And
that's what I was just getting ready to say.
Well, I'm just saying it's getting dark, and I'm just...
All right, so anyway, so the neighbor's house up that way, not where you see, but beyond them, there was a house that was real close to the little creek back here, and it just got demolished by the water, and big pieces of it come floating down and crashed into that lean-to and tore it all up. Of course, all of these pens, I'll throw some pictures in. All these fences here was all flattened or taken away, and we had some little goats. We moved them from over here and moved them over to this area because this was always a safe area for floods. And you know, it wasn't a safe area that time. We actually, this barn, if I would stand next to that barn, water was 5 foot up that wall. It was
it was pretty horrible.
It was
we had no fencing, no houses, no feed bowls, no, nothing was left. I mean, it just wiped everything all the way down, even our horses area. There wasn't any horses out, but anyway, we had to show them the back of the barn.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Where it blew out.
Walk over here, and that house kind of contributed to this. Now we got they tore this up really bad though, but now we got some panels stuck here. And this was all fenced in here. It had another little pen behind the camera view. But this right here, I got some wire fence stuck there, but it kind of the water blew in right there. And I mean, this was not a door. There was no door at all. There's the loft up there.
Just the loft door was all there was.
I do have it braced up underneath of there. You can't tell from here. But anyway. Oh, spiderweb get you?
Yeah.
So you can kind of see how the wall blew out there with the water. So the water came in that direction and it blew back out into the creek. So it didn't take the entire barn with it. It could have though. It blew out right there. And I had you can see a little brace right there. On that right there, I had a chainsaw, a Homelight chainsaw, and it washed off into the flood water, and it went on down all the way down. There's some trees at the end of our pasture, and you know, I got that home saw. It was one my dad gave me, and I got that home saw that Homelight saw running again and used it for a number of years before it found.
Over here, this bank was more this way. That was all fencing over there.
Yeah.
And as this water keeps coming through, it's just now the fencing and posts have just come out.
Yeah.
And it's just falling off the bank.
Yeah.
So in floods, you lose real estate.
It's just like they show in the Carolinas, a little river.
Yeah, this used to be just a little dry creek.
Yeah.
Now, if you show them down that direction and that direction, how it's spread out so much.
Yeah, and you can see right there's exactly what she's talking about.
Yeah.
The fence post has no dirt no more.
No,
Same with.
they're just falling off the.
Yeah.
That was all up that way a little, because we used to ride horses back there and go down and go up and.
There's a lot of crap in this creek too that.
You can't pick it all up.
No, because it just keeps coming.
It floods a little. It all more comes down.
You can see what's happening up there. There's big full-size trees getting ready to come down that I probably should get up there and try to cut them up.
Oh my goodness. I've never seen that big tree.
Nope. And they just worked the ways down from upstream.
Wow.
And that's what happened. That's really what happened to us in 2015 is down here it hits another creek. We call it Crazycluckers Creek. And if you see my deer video, but anyway, on down there's a bridge that goes across, and all these big trees was in the creek, and it stopped that bridge
there was
up.
A guy that was a tree cutter, tree trimmer.
Yeah, there was a lot of logs
and
from
he had
him.
these big monster logs and pieces stacked up there in his yard.
Yeah.
And that water brought all those monster logs.
Yeah.
And everybody's stuff that it flooded out, like in the Carolinas, all the debris shoved up under the bridge. The bridge was so high, but it was just, and then the water came and
it was at that point it pretty
shot
much
it back this way.
This valley just became like a bathtub putting a cork in it.
Horrible.
It filled up and it came up quick.
Yeah. And it was so scary.
Pretty scary.
That's why those people too, it just makes our hearts hurt because we know.
Take a walk down the creek.
We know what they felt like, on a smaller scale. We're not trying to say, theirs was so much worse.
Yeah.
We're just saying we do know how that feels to lose everything.
We can relate. If you can see right here, just beyond Luann up there's the house. And just imagine, the water was within 6 feet of that house.
Yeah.
I mean, where we're standing right now, I guess it was probably 10 foot deep.
Gosh, yeah.
Which I know it doesn't compare to the 30 foot deep there, but
in this little
at
area,
at our level.
Yeah.
Watch your step here, Luann. We got old bones and they'll shatter quickly.
Yeah, and then puddles.
Yeah.
Watch out for puddles, but yeah, we lost 17 of our goats.
Yeah.
We had mamas without babies, babies without mamas, and whole little families that also went. Oh, this is uncomfortable to walk in.
Yeah,
Let's get back up there.
We'll be over
I'm
here.
gonna break an ankle here in a minute.
I'm hanging on to you.
Well, that's not helping my feet.
We're almost there.
But yeah, it was a horrible thing.
Yeah.
And it won't bother me a bit, even as much as I love our place and love my home. It won't bother me because we're planning on moving, and I just want to be away from this dry creek because I have really bad memories.
PTSD, and right here, there was a little shed building right here. And that shed building had an 18-horse riding lawnmower in it. It actually went down the creek, and we found it a mile down that way behind a guy's house, buried in the gravel. I mean, that's still buried there today. No point in trying to dig it.
It was like rivers just running off this hillside, and I can just imagine those Carolina mountains. They had raging rivers and mudslides. This was just everywhere you looked. Up there was raging, you know, just little rivers just raging down. And across the road from our house, same thing. We're in the valley, so with us being in the valley, just like they were, you know, or are, you got both sides just coming down, you know, coming into this bowl.
Well, between our house and the road, it was like a pond. Lapping up against our house on that side.
Oh gosh, it was.
But,
our barn was fine. It's a little higher, so everything was fine, and we had animals in the barn. But the ones we never. I mean, when
we thought we were prepared for it.
Well, it's when it hit that bridge and it was blocked, and it just sent it all back up this way. Just, whew, you know.
It
just
actually,
right back up on us.
The pavement across the bridge, it buckled it up and kind of folded the pavement like an accordion.
Yeah, it was, but you see what water does. Water doesn't stop.
Well, you see down the Carolinas.
Making sure that isn't some of that.
I don't know. In the Carolinas, it took out a lot of roads. Water don't care. It's stronger.
No, you're not going to stop it.
Stronger than anything.
You don't stop it. It just made us, you know, it's made us really think about it. This way.
Yeah, it was up this way. You can see the water, or you can see my little blackberry vines.
Walk up. I don't want to walk in the creek. It's hurting my ankle.
I'm coming, Lou Ann.
What's under these leaves, and I'm going to break my ankle.
Right. But up there beyond the blackberries, let's see, the boat, I forgot where the boat was, but it got floated to there. Used to be another building up there too, a big 10 by 12 building. And
shed over there. It took all of our lawnmowers, our generators, tools, plus everything out of the barn that we had, feed cans, you know, electric clippers for horses, just everything. It took everything we had on the outside of the house.
Yeah.
And it would have took our horse pen. It drug it and bent a bunch of the panels, but it was hooked, wasn't it, to that lean-to, so it just stretched it all the way out and bent it and left it, but it tore up a bunch of our panels. We had to buy more panels.
Yeah, we used to, this was all board rail fence. We had
board rail
2 or 3 paddocks up there for horses, all board rail fence, and it just, all the lower half, it just wiped it out. The water was, as the water went down that way, it was pretty well, about half of this little pasture right there was water, the lower half. It was a lot of water. And down there, I could go stand in that creek. The creek is just behind those trees. I could go stand in the creek right now, and you couldn't see my hand if I held it up. And the water was way up. You could see the water way up above the ground line down there, the horizon.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I mean, there was no FEMA.
Oh, Lou Ann, you're standing right behind a little hugging tree.
Oh yeah.
See how it's
we
hugging
had
each
flood
other?
insurance, but all that covers is your house.
Yeah.
It doesn't cover anything inside of it, outside of it. So it didn't get to our house. So all of it, we had no insurance covering anything. Yeah. We can thank a friend of ours. Remember, Dave made me. He said, I'm lending you this to put your fences back up. I said, I'm not doing it. And he kept on and he said, you're going to do it. The animals need fencing. We had all of our goats in one little pen and in the barn because it took everything away.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave, and our friend Bill came and helped us put all the fence back up. So between them two, Dave and Sarah and Bill, we don't know what we would have done.
Thank you, Bill.
Yes, we don't know what we would have done.
There's a lot of, it was just what we put into it back then, our part was $5,000 in fence
Yeah.
and post and
It was, I mean, we couldn't afford that.
No.
We just lost everything and we didn't have that kind of money.
takes a long time. It takes a long time to replace stuff. It takes a longer time to clean up. This was, I can't tell you. I mean, it looks a mess now. It's a farm, and I got some of my mess piles, my
show 'em the
treasure
tree
piles.
Where it got the tree on the,
This tree
it
here.
had, remember it had those gates. Took our gates and pushed them all the way.
when the lean-to
and
went down.
Chunked the tree out, our locust tree, and that's why it's leaning this way to this day.
Yeah,
Did it repair itself?
No, there's one big chunk there.
Yeah, it pushed it.
A little
in.
chunk down there, but it didn't have them up high. But this whole branch, it fell off. That's another story.
But we had our gates pushed up against that tree, pushed up against this tree, just shoved. It was the most horrible sight.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, it's just, there was no help. We had no help. Nothing. They didn't care. All the people down through here got flooded out up there and they did, I'm sorry, I'm just saying they did nothing.
My 8N tractor was right there, and it pushed the 8N tractor, which is not a heavy tractor, but still it's a tractor. It pushed it over that way somewhere, I don't know, 75 feet or so. And now, down here, I'll try to find some pictures and I'll post all the affected areas.
Oh, and we had to go across the creek and in the creek, pick up styrofoam insulation from that house that busted apart and came down. Our property over across the creek, there was just trash and white, and we had to me and him was taking several days and went over and picked up all that trash, the best that we could.
There's still, you can see like that white, there's still pieces of vinyl
Well, that
siding.
was from the afterwards.
But it was still from the same house. It's just that it took a while before it got down this far.
Yeah, there's still when the water comes up, still stuff washes up.
Yeah. This down here was the worst. All this fence here it was either took out completely or it was laying down on its side, and it took a long time before I got all of this cleaned up down here. I mean, it was a pretty wild, woolly mess.
Oh, we cleaned that up one day and it was just wound up wire and posts and T-posts that were absolutely just like you, just bent like that.
And obviously, this is nothing, compared to what they have down there. And this took a few years to get it straightened out. I mean, because you still have to do your normal work and chores, and I was working then.
Yeah.
And I just imagine now them poor people down there. It's going to be, to get things half straightened out, it's going to take them 5-10 years.
And we were in our late 50s then.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just talking 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Or not even quite 10 years ago.
Yeah,
it was 2015.
We're getting up there in years.
Yeah. I mean, saying we were then even.
Yeah.
So it was rough even then. But we could do a lot more then than, than now, of course.
But anyway, we just thought we would share this with you, and again, we're not trying to compare at all.
Oh no, never.
But we can relate then more so than what most people do.
Yeah, we think about them, and it's made us think about how scared we were and how horrible and scared. They've lost family members and they don't even have a home. We're so fortunate, but we know that feeling, and seeing that water. I mean, it sounded like a freight train coming through our back.
Yeah, it was
down
bad.
here. Raging river.
This house that's up there, you can see it off in the distance. The water was up
top of their windows.
Yeah, well, maybe not quite the top, but it was at
Almost.
least midway. It was, you know, and that's a lot of water, you know.
Yeah.
Put a line of sight from here to there.
Yeah.
You know, we could, our little goats, we didn't know it was them. We thought it was some foxes.
The electric had went out. It was a horrible storm.
Yeah.
It was dark, and you know, we thought everybody was safe. You know, we didn't think, but when that water got pushed back, that's what happened. Everybody was okay. Then the water came shoved back this direction.
It came up too quick.
There's nothing we could do.
Correct it. You can't wade out in current water this deep.
Oh, that's raging.
You lose your own life, and that doesn't do.
We had to leave.
Good.
We had to leave the house. We called the neighbor and said, "We're coming up," because it was in our back door. We didn't figure it was going to get to the barn, but we didn't know when we came home what was going to be of our house. But we couldn't stay. You know, I mean,
we pretty much, the way it had went, we pretty much thought when we came back down the hill, the house was going to be gone.
Well, there'd be water in it, if anything. Water in, you know, the house.
We didn't know what to expect. I mean, it started off with me. Well, she kept saying, "It's going bad." You can hear because the water.
Something.
When the creek gets up, it's really loud. You can hear it in the house.
Scary.
It does kind of sound like a train.
It's scary.
But I kept downplaying it. I was working as a carpenter, and I because I had to go to work next day and trying to sleep. And finally, she said, "That's really," and it sounded really bad, and it was no electric. You could only see when the lightning hit. So I went and looked out the window, and I seen the little shed. I had the one shed I just mentioned where the tractor was. It's not there anymore. 10 by 12 shed, and it kind of did a little bobble, and I didn't realize what was going on. Well, that was when the lightning hit. Then the lightning hit again. The shed was gone. It was just gone.
Yeah, and the other one had already went.
Yeah.
And
the one down by the creek.
I mean, it's now when they say anything about flash floods, I'm awake. I stay up. I go shining the flashlight down from the back door.
Yeah.
All night long, I do that till I see on the radar it's just going to be light rain and it's gone, because I got so scared that it's like PTSD. It really is. I can't. When they mention anything
it is
about flash floods, I'm awake. I'll say, I'm not going to get any sleep tonight.
These people along them river systems in North Carolina and Tennessee.
And they were asleep.
They're going to be going through the same thing.
They are.
Every time it rains now, they're just going to be freaking out.
Because they didn't get any notifications. There was none that came over, and they let water out of the
two different
lakes, and that water just raged down.
Yeah, so
and
it
they
hit
were
'em
asleep.
fast.
They didn't get the warnings that water was going to be let out.
They didn't have a chance.
No chance. And I'd seen where people were saying, "Well, they shouldn't live there." You know,
people have to.
You know
live where
what? They've never had to deal with that, and they weren't right next to the water. Now they are, because what used to be a little bitty creek is now a big wide. You know, it took the real estate away.
You seen how wide ours is, and it doesn't even normally hold water. But whenever it does, that water eats it wider and wider all the time.
You have no idea how quick and how high and how raging a little bitty creek can turn. So if you live next to one, just please heed our warning and don't get complacent about it.
Yeah.
It can get bad real fast.
All right, well, I guess we'll cut it off here. Hey, remember, Tuesday, go vote if you haven't already.
Yes.
This is a very important election. So,
it is.
With that, I guess.
Have a wonderful weekend.
And Crazy Cluckers out.
Over and out.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.